Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jackson Grimes. I'll be your host for tonight's presentation of the Banker's Addiction Intervention, brought to you by Occupy Delaware, illustrating the dangers of turning money into a god and proving once again that money is indeed the root of all evil.
Gambling addiction is a scourge that wrecks families and bankrupts communities. But a compassionate, tough love intervention can break the cycle of addiction. First, we must understand that cycle. Let us begin with a helpless addict. Now, a normal person will make an affordable bet on a game or play the slots for entertainment. But the addict has lost control, and he so craves the thrill of betting that he must keep betting even when he is broke and has to bet with other people's money. Here we observe a banker meeting his bookie. You can see he has already lost control. He is gambling with the funds of his depositors. Now his friends, who should try to help him, instead are the enablers of his addiction. Here is the first enabler, the Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden. As senator, he voted to repeal the Glass-Steagall Act with the Financial Modernization Act of 1999. Thus, commercial banks were no longer separated from investment banks, so bankers can now gamble with deposits. Here comes another enabler, Senator Carper. He prevented states from enforcing consumer regulations on national banks. He also opposes limiting credit card swiping fees to 12 cents, even though higher fees hurt small businesses. And he opposes any regulation beyond the toothless Dodd-Frank. Here is another enabler, Delaware Governor Markell, with $15 million in checks for J.P. Morgan Chase and Citibank, continuing the policy going back to the DuPont incentives of 1981. He opposes strengthening Dodd-Frank regulations, which would have restored aspects of Glass-Steagall and would have prevented Chase from blowing $2 billion on derivative bets. Just like the addicts they support, these enablers claim that the bank's failure would hurt everyone else more than the banks, that they are too big to fail, and that they can't afford to hire anybody in Delaware if they don't get a bribe. The only help for our hopeless addict is a citizen addiction intervention. Here are the interveners of Occupy Delaware, representing the 99% of us who do not enjoy the privileges of the pampered 1%. First, they each testify about the banker's destructive behaviors and how he has hurt everyone. Here it is a evicted homeless person who was tricked into a mortgage with an exploding interest rate she could not pay. He packaged her mortgage with thousands of worthless others and sold them to finance his habit. Here is an unemployed teacher who was fired after the mortgage meltdown when austerity was imposed and services were cut to pay for the bank bailout so the banker could feed his habit. Here is a college graduate who owes a $50,000 student loan but has no job because government grants were replaced by bank loans so the banker could feed his habit. Here is a small business person who cannot get a loan because the bank has gambled away the available capital so the banker could feed his habit. Next, the interveners spell out the treatment plan.
Treatment plan.
Admit you have a problem. Stop blackmailing and bribing politicians.
Yes, we don't have problems.
Renegotiate mortgages and student loans on a fair basis. Hire the homeless, the poor, the ex-offender, and the down and out. Accept higher taxes on those most able to pay. Separate commercial from investment banking. Deprivatize social service and education. Dismantle the military-industrial complex, abolish the prison system, invest in communities and small business and green industry, give up your corporate personhood to a higher power, the 99%. Finally, the interveners spell out what they will do if the banker refuses to accept treatment. Boycotts, demonstrations, strikes, occupations, revolution!
United will never be defeated. The people 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 united will never be defeated.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's presentation on how the banksters use and abuse the masses, and that you understand they will continue to do so until the people unite and say enough is enough.